Yeah. He told me that. He said, if you tell me, he gave me two things. He said,
All right, so
the first thing was, he told me if I paid him $5,000, he'll take it down. And then the second thing was, he said, he called me back and he was like, well, if you tell me who was involved with Sierra Webb getting killed, I'll take the post down. I said, well.
All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to get right into this. Richard Taylor, Taylor House Publishing. But the man that you just heard on that brief excerpt was Mr. Dennis Harvey. Now, Mr. Harvey is a Rocky Mount man who runs a program that reaches out to youth in the form of, letting them ride horses, teaching them about horses. He has a ranch. And he's, I guess, a very active member of the community in Rocky Mount. However, as you just heard on the tape, Mr. Harvey is also the latest victim of this man right here. This man is Mr. Gerald Cupcake Jackson of the North Carolina beat. He's a blogger. He's a Facebooker who exposes certain situations. Now, as you heard on the video coming from the mouth of Mr. Dennis Harvey, Mr. Gerald Butter Cookie Jackson tried to get him to give him $5,000, according to Mr. Harvey, for taking a video down that he posted exposing or allegedly exposing Mr. Harvey for an attempt to sleep with a young man. Now, this is according to the video that Mr. Gerald Sweet Thing, Don't You Know You're My Everything Jackson posted. He posted a live about 2 days ago saying that, Mr. Harvey tried to text a young man and tried to pay him $2,000 to sleep with him. I'm not going to get all into the video. You can go to the NCB and watch that video with the allegations that Mr. Gerald Georgia Peach Jackson levied against Mr. Harvey, right? But as you see, and I'm going to play the rest of the call from Mr. Harvey, how Mr. Jackson, who has a history of extortion, and we're going to get has actually been convicted of extortion, tried to get Mr. Harvey to pay him $5,000 to take the video down as a takedown fee. Now, this is, of course, according to Mr. Harvey. So I'm going to play this call, and there's some more aspects to the call as well. Evidently, and you'll hear on the tape, Mr. Jackson had tried to talk to, establish a romantic relationship with Mr. Harvey. Now, evidently, both Mr. Jackson and Mr. Harvey is members of the LGBTQIA plus community, which is all well and good. But evidently, Mr. Harvey did not want to engage with Mr. Jackson, and so, as you'll see or hear on the recording of Mr. Harvey, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Gerald Backdoor Jackson, he brought that up as a reason why that he is probably not going to take the video down unless he's paid with a certain amount of money. Matter of fact, we're just going to get into the call and I'm going to break it down periodically. Now, here is the first part where Mr. Harvey states that Mr. Jackson gave him two options. Listen to this.
He gave me two things. He said, the first thing was, he told me if I paid him $5,000, he'll take it down. Then the second thing was, he said, he called me back and he was like, well, if you tell me who was involved with Sierra Webb getting killed, I'll take the post down. I said, well, all right.
All right, so you hear that. You said he gave him two options. Mr. Gerald Moms Maisley Jackson gave him two options, saying that, you can give me $5,000 or you can give me some information about a murder. Now, this murder, which happened about 3 or 4 years ago, I don't have all the details, but evidently at one of Mr. Harvey's events, someone lost their life. Now, I don't know if Mr. Harvey, evidently he wasn't, implicated in it, but nevertheless, I guess the case has not been solved or whatever. So Mr. Jackson asked him, well, if you give me more information about that, then I'll take the video down, which is another form of extortion or blackmail, which the last video did about Gerald Blackberry Molasses Jackson exposed him on. But I'm going to let you hear what he did. He took this guy, so this guy is trying to get him to take the post down. So he gives him some delicate information about this murder, and Mr. Gerald G. Money Wells Jackson takes and records it and posts this information, putting this man's life in jeopardy. Just listen to this.
I know it's the people that I was told that was involved, and when I told him that, he had recorded me, and he went on his Facebook Live and told the public what I told him. And ever since then, I have been receiving phone calls from people, they're going to kill me. People posting on Facebook that they were going to blow my brains out, keep their family member name out their mouth. I can't believe he did that. I have literally not been back to work because I'm afraid of, after what he did to me last night.
Yeah, because
So there, Mr. Harvey tells the story of him giving sensitive information, thinking Mr. Jackson is going to take the information and use it anonymously. However, he posted the information on the internet. And I know, because of course I deal with some delicate situations, and I know when you release certain information, you do put yourself in the proximity of, danger as well. So I think that is very disingenuous of Mr. Gerald Limp Wrist Jackson to do that to this man. Now, further on in this call, what you're going to hear Mr. Harvey admit that yes, he texts the young man. Now, the text was, I don't know, what the text was about. I didn't read those text messages, but matter of fact, you will hear him explain what the texts were about. Just 1 second.
Yeah, I still work there. I haven't been fired. I haven't been charged anything. My thing is this. When the text message that was sent to that boy, that guy's 18, about to be 19. That makes it seem like he was a child or a predator or a molester, some weird stuff. And that's not even the case. I was out with some friends drinking. I was texting, and I ended up texting and thinking I was texting somebody else. And it just kind of got a little out of hand. That's the only thing that happened with that situation.
Okay.
And the boy was over it. He was like, yeah, I get it, but I'm not gay. So, and that was the end of it. I was like, well, I apologize, because that wasn't the intention. His mom took and ran with it. Someone attacked Gerald, and Gerald took it and just went ape shit with it. And
all right, so there you have Mr. Harvey explaining, hey, he was out hanging out. He texts, the young man, and he made, I guess, a offer to hang out with him or something of that nature. The young man was like, nah, I'm not gay, this, that, and the other. And then that was a done deal. As he said, the young man didn't have any problem, with the, I guess, advance. However, the mother took it to Gerald, and then Gerald Peter Pan Piper Jackson took it and ran with it, right? So now he's going to bring up once again the sensitive information about the murder investigation that he gave Mr. Jackson, and also how he negated or told him that I am not giving you $5,000. Now just listen.
And then he talked about something that happened at my farm 3 years ago where a girl got killed at an event that I had. Where's the relevance in this story?
Yeah.
You have been attacking me and bullying me for the past 3 days. My life has been a living, miserable hell. And then you're gonna tell me if I give you $5,000, it's your takedown fee of what you charge. And then I'll call back and say, well, if you give me information, because he knows that if the police find out who did it, it's a reward. So he wants the reward money.
Okay.
So there you have it. Once again, this Mr. Harvey admits that Mr. Jackson asked him to give him $5,000 for a takedown fee. And so, as you see, Mr. Jackson has that history of extortion, and also Mr. Harvey mentioned the bullying. Now, later on in this call, he speaks about how this situation has made his life a living hell by him releasing that information that Mr. Harvey wanted to disclose about information about the murder, putting him in danger. He said he's been actually receiving death threats. Let me let y'all hear that.
Ever since then, people have been calling, posting, and all kinds of crazy shit about me, and Gerald won't let this go. He has created a living hell for me.
So that's the danger that they put the man in. Now this once again, it speaks of once again the history of this man. Now I'm going to go into his history a little bit later in the video. If you haven't watched the last one I did about him, it kind of goes into detail. I'm not going to go into that much detail, but as Mr. Harvey says that, the text message was between, him and a legally aged man. As he said that Mr. Jackson made it seem like that he was texting a kid by using, hey, the mom of, a kid, brought this information to his attention, which, that's what he does. But listen to this.
Okay, I made a mistake with a text message, but the text message was never nothing sexual. Nothing never said anything about sex. And even if it did, that guy's 19 years old. He's not a kid.
Yeah.
So, the thing about it is, if you're going to say I broke the law, what law did I break? Call the police, have me charged. But you haven't. It's just been 4 days of hell of you torturing me.
So there he goes again. He said, look, this man was of age. I didn't do anything wrong. I haven't been fired from my job. He has stated that, he hasn't been able to go back to work because of the attention that Mr. Gerald Fruitcake Jackson gave to his place of employment. And as he's going to mention right here, that the Dollar General situation had nothing to do with that situation, the text message. But he's gonna elaborate on that right here. Hold on just 1 second.
A general manager posts a mom speaks like it had no relevance. Where I worked had no relevance to the situation with that guy. Yes, I was gonna hire that guy, but it was nothing in reference to Dollar General. That's what I'm not understanding. Like he really took that and ran with it.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm telling you now, I'm not giving you $5,000. No, I'm not.
And so there you have him once again stating, look, I am not giving you $5,000. No, I'm not. So that's 3 times in this conversation that Mr. Harvey alleges that Mr. Gerald Jackson attempted to extract, extort money from Mr. Harvey in exchange for him taking the video down. Now, this is where, once again, it gets deep. This is, once again, the sinister nature of Mr. Jackson. Now, here Mr. Harvey is going to allude to the previous contact that he had with Mr. Jackson, where Mr. Jackson was trying to, he was trying to get your freak on. What Missy said, Missy, he was evidently, he was trying to get his freak on with, Mr. Harvey. But here we go. Let's play this.
Did you know him before this incident?
Never. Well, he had reached out to me before because I do a lot of bonfires and trail rides and events. He got mad at me in the past because I never wanted to talk to him, or I didn't find him, interesting. So ever since then, he's just been really weird. Like, I have no interest in you. No, that's not my style. That's not me. And then he brought up, oh, well, had you gave me what I wanted in the past and tried to talk to me, maybe I would have been on your best style or your best interest. Like, he's trying to blackmail me and trying to make me feel very uncomfortable.
So he said at this time.
Yeah. He said, I remember you. He said, you must not remember me. I remember you for when I tried to talk to you in the past. But he recorded the conversation, so I don't know if he recorded what he said or he only records what I said. Even though I'm recording, I don't even know.
So there you have it. Once again, he's exposing the sinister nature of Mr. Jackson, admitting that, if you would have tried to talk to me, then, maybe I would have been on your side. Now, evidently, he can't get, who's ever he's interested in by his own merit. He has to resort to blackmail and making these people uncomfortable. Evidently, Mr. Harvey rejected his advances, and this is the result of that. So I don't know what's going on with Mr. Gerald, Fudge Pudge Jackson, but this is a pattern that his history shows he normally engages in, allegedly from the call that Mr. Harvey is talking about. Now, here is, once again, and I commend Mr. Harvey, he kind of admits that, the text was a mistake. He said that the text was a mistake, and he's going to explain a little bit of that right here. Just 1 second.
What was text to the guy probably was not the smartest thing to do. But it was not intended. I was intoxicated, man. There was a group of us who were all out hanging out, and I was just texting. And actually, I didn't even pay attention to who I was texting. That's the crazy part about it. It's late at night, you're trolling, you're feeling good, you just texting. And like I said, he's trying to paint this picture like this is a kid. This is an 18-year-old, up to 9-year-old man. So if there was a woman texting him, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah.
But because you're trying to make it something that it's not, it's just outrageous. And then the thing that gets me is the guy, the young man was over it. He didn't even trip off of it. He was just letting it go. His mom is the one that made a big issue about it. You know what I'm saying? And then now that they got Gerald involved, Gerald is taking this and running with it for clout and for money and publicity.
So there you say he admits, that it was a bad text, but the young man, he iterates, was not like a minor or a predator, as Gerald's as the caption, I'm going to show you the caption, as this caption alludes to, mom says that her son was approached by a Dollar General manager and blah, blah, blah. See, there's that wording right there, which we talked about before. And he mentioned something earlier about, him recording. Now, he plays the recording, but just as Mr. Harvey said, he didn't play anything to incriminate himself. He just plays bits and pieces of the call. But according to Mr. Harvey, as you've heard on 3 separate occasions during my conversation with him, that Mr. Gerald Fruit Loop Jackson wanted to get money out of him to take the post down. So I'm going to play this last part real quick, and then I'm going to be through with it.
Public does not know that he is a convicted felon. The public don't know that he does extortion and he's calling around doing bomb threats to schools and putting people's children in danger. But the public don't know that. But they know the shit that he talks about other people.
And so that's, why I did the first video, because once again, Mr. Gerald Hula Hoop Jackson wants to expose a lot of people, but I found out and people gave me some information on him about his history, once again, of extortion. He was actually convicted in 2021 of trying to extort a lawyer. Once again, it's that same $4,500. He must have went up on his rates, because in this, as you see, he was demanding $4,500 in cash for not publicly disclosing personal and embarrassing information, as he's done with this guy. He, as Mr. Harvey asserts, he's asking him for $5,000. So this lines right up with his criminal history. They said that the lawyer, reported him and, was able to get him on recording saying that, he did that. And I addressed that in the last video. He came back, making a video, about, my video and about me, going, trying to call me names and, talking real sassy. As we all know, he's kind of sassy, kind of flamboyant, kind of extravagant. And so I decided, I said, okay, I'm not going to go back and forth with him, because as a man, as a real manly man, I know that, I can't go back and forth with a person of his orientation. That's just almost like to me going back and forth with a woman. And so I said, I'm going to leave it alone until Mr. Harvey contacted me. So I said, okay, well, I have to address it, because once again, my brother Uhuru felt that he was, trying to extort him. And then this man blatantly says that, yeah, he said, if you give me such and such and such, $5,000 to be exact, then I'll take that video down. But here you see, he has a long criminal history of making bomb threats. Also cyberbullying. And if you notice in that last video where he was trying to debunk my information due to his criminal history, he only talked about one thing, and that was how the case against him and the lady that he was bullying from the Jacksonville beat or whatever, how that case was dismissed. He spent the majority of that video debunking that particular charge, but he never addressed the extortion charge that he was convicted and served time for. He had no explanation for that, or the 20 bomb threats that he was convicted of in making bomb threats to Onslow County schools, businesses, Walmarts, McDonald's. Like, this guy was a serial bomb threater. The Captain Crunch of bomb. Now, what's the sweet cereal? The Cinnamon Toast, Gerald Cinnamon Toast Crunch Jackson. That this man has a straight history. And so and before, I did the video about him, or after we talked, and he once again, he tried to threaten me of taking my video down. But we had a conversation about 30 minutes, and I might go back and play that on another date if I need to. But we talked, and and after that, he invited me to his Beat Mob group on social media. And after he did the video disparaging me, calling me a crackhead, saying I smoke weed, which I don't, all of these negative things, which I didn't do in the video to him, and I don't even think I'm doing it now I'm joking a little bit, but I can go in like he went in, but that's not the case. The case is, or the point is, to expose, once again, his propensity to try to extort people and how he moves. But nevertheless, this group, this beat mob group, if you're familiar with him, I was in it, and his stories will come across. The group, and I would, I hadn't been looking at them, but yesterday, because I tried to click on it yesterday and see the video that he did, about the Mr. Harvey. I was unable. It says attachment unavailable, which means I was blocked from seeing anything that the NCB put up. So I go to my Facebook, I type in NCB, and it doesn't come up. So evidently this man has blocked me as well. I don't care, but it just seems strange after, he did a video, breaking me down, quote unquote, you know what I'm saying? That then, I said, even after the video, I texted him, I said, man, look, man, that was hilarious, man. That was a hilarious video. That was a good job, whatever. Because, you know what I'm saying? I know, I don't know him. It ain't personal. He's just responding to the allegations that was made by, Coach Freedom. But now, there's another gentleman coming back with the same claim. So, what they say, if it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, if you put it in water, it's probably going to float. You know what I mean? And I think that this claim by Mr. Harvey is probably going to float. It's unfortunate that he didn't have the wherewithal to record the conversation as Mr. Gerald Joanna Man Jackson had the wherewithal to record. But, nevertheless, man, the guy reached out to me and, expressed his concern about, Mr. Jackson's posts. So we're going to, and once again, his record is out there. You've seen it. You can go back and watch the last video, but we're going to keep an eye on this situation, Mr. Gerald Jackson. A lot of his stories are interesting, but how many other people have paid this man to not let their stories be aired? That is the question. But shout out to Mr. Harvey for coming on and allowing his voice to be heard and giving further exposure to Mr. Gerald Jackson because of his misdeeds. But 919-587-7782 if you have any other information, regarding this incident, these incidents, or any other incidents that you feel need to be exposed. 919-587-7782, or you can email taylorpublishinghouse@gmail.com. Peace and love. Y'all have a blessed day.